Hey everybody, this is a Barcelona Podcast YouTube exclusive. I'm Dan Hilton, and while I know you all miss my smiling face, we've got to talk some Champions League today. Through 4 matches in the Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund have scored a total of 13 goals. They have 3 wins and a shock 3-1 defeat to recently promoted Union Berlin in Germany's capital. While it's been Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, Peter Bosz, Peter Stöger, and now Lucien Favre, Dortmund is known to blitz opponents at home, and with the exception of Stöger, they have played as a high-pressing side for close to the entire decade. Favre's team like to build up with possession and press a little less than a Klopp or Tuchel side, but they still have the ability to press when they turn the ball over. Marc-Andre ter Stegen's former manager at Borussia Mönchengladbach, Favre has a reputation of both developing young talent and employing a system reliant on continuity and experience. In Favre's 4-2-3-1, there is no reliance on just one player, but some players have a little more responsibility than others. With Lionel Messi in tow, and maybe even without him, pundits will argue that Barcelona is the favorite. Dortmund have a solid squad though, one that will push for the Bundesliga title this season, so here are the 5 players that Barcelona need to worry about the most. Paco Alcácer. Paco Alcácer has said this week that some at Barcelona didn't treat him properly, and his willingness to give these comments let us know that the former Barca striker is motivated to play his former team. He's in great form, scoring in every match for club and country this season, 10 goals in 8 matches so far. Alcácer is feeding off the ability of the wingers to get balls low and hard into the box for him, but he's also scoring goals on his own merit as well. Last year he had just 1 goal in 5 Champions League matches, but his 18 goals in 26 Bundesliga games is probably a better barometer of what kind of talent he has right now. When it comes to former strikers against his old teammates, I don't think there's an exact science to figure out who has the upper hand. Hopefully, it's Gerard Piqué who wins this matchup. Jadon Sancho. Emotionally, Alcácer should be the name to fear, but tactically, it's Jadon Sancho. Before Ansu Fati became the teenage winger that the world is talking about, Sancho was the top teenage winger in the world last year, and probably the best teenage forward behind Kylian Mbappe. Sancho plays with a fearlessness fitting a 19-year-old, but he does bring results. Last season, he led the Bundesliga in assists with 17, also adding 12 goals, and he's picked up right where he left off this season. 2 goals and 5 assists in 4 matches, plus scoring 2 goals for England during the recent international window, should put Jordi Alba on notice. Playing on the right wing, Sancho wants to get behind the defense with balls either over the top or spit out to him on diagonals. Alcácer drops back to receive the ball deeper, allowing the young Englishman to stretch out a back line and find his spots. Axel Witsel. Axel Witsel does get some credit for how crucial he is to Favre's setup, but we have to reiterate it here. Playing alongside Thomas Delaney as one of the 2 defensive midfielders in the 4-2-3-1, Witsel has a lot of responsibility to break down another team while adding the defensive stability required of a fast-paced modern game full of counterattacking. Dortmund doesn't press as much as they once did, and Kool-Aids can watch as Witsel makes everyone around him better. He spaces out teams that press by being good enough on the ball to dribble out of trouble, giving license to the center backs to dribble into that space that Witsel vacates and start to pin back opponents. The Belgian international may have been Dortmund's best player in the Champions League last year, and his performance could be the litmus test for how much success Barcelona have if they try to press. Marco Reus. The man pulling the strings for the Dortmund attack is Marco Reus. The only reason Reus isn't involved in Ballon d'Or conversations is because he oftentimes doesn't play enough games to be a serious contender. Fortunately for the German side, he is currently healthy and a slight change in position has suited him. He plays as the middle attacker of the line of 3 behind Alcácer, where he's collected 3 goals and 1 assist in the 4 Bundesliga matches so far this season. With Witsel and Delaney behind him, Reus pops up as a center forward at times or on the wing, both places he's logged major minutes in his career. The game plan against Reus must be to crowd him off the ball and not give him a moment to create some magic. Whatever space he vacates must be exploited when Barcelona get the ball back. Julian Brandt. Julian Brandt, the new signing from Bayer Leverkusen, is the wild card on this list. Mats Hummel will be pivotal for line-breaking passes, and Achraf Hakimi could be the danger man coming up from right back if Barcelona find a way to keep Sancho in check. But to me, Brandt is the one that should have Valverde game planning the most. He could start on the left wing, as he's done twice this season, or Favre could bring him off the bench as a winger or a central option. Brandt is a poet on the ball, and a moment will come this season where the 23-year-old will announce himself to the world, if he hasn't already. A little bias here, I actually saw him in person back in 2017, on my honeymoon nonetheless, and he was the best player on the pitch that night on a very cold night in Stuttgart. Our list may be over, but before we go, I wanted to bring up 2 of the top La Masia players that left Barcelona for Dortmund in recent years, Sergio Gomez and Mateo Mori. Gomez was sent out on loan to Huesca in the Segunda Division this year. The 19-year-old just started his first match for the relegated side this weekend in a 1-0 loss. Playing both right wing and attacking midfield, coaches don't appear to have found his best position yet. A lot of keyboard warriors, or I guess we can call them keyboard Kool-Aids, the ones that attack La Masia players that left if their careers don't pan out right away, give him a hard time. I don't know how much of that is deserved, because he still has plenty of time to figure things out this season and become an important player for Dortmund in the future. Matteo Mori, meanwhile, is dealing with an injury, which is not a surprise for those who have followed the right back during his time at La Masia. When healthy, he is technically a first-team player for Dortmund, and will train with the other players on this list, but when will he get his chances? He has to stay healthy first, and then we may find out. Now for some final notes. The one silver lining about Messi's status still being up in the air is that Favre may need to create two different sets of tactics for Barcelona with Messi and Barcelona without him. Playing at home at Signal Iduna Park with the famed yellow wall, Dortmund will have the atmosphere, and Barcelona haven't been great away from the Camp Nou yet this season. On paper, this is the hardest match of Barca's Champions League group, and getting a draw should be seen as a good result, but Kool-Aids certainly want more. After the game, I'll have the quick take match review over on the Patreon. Until then, Forza Barca.